guys hear me? Eagles and all right. What's going on? We're back with the Expand Your Mind podcast. This is episode 3, if I'm not mistaken. Third one, right? Episode 3. Me, we got Needles, we got Blue. As the room was filling up, you guys would be so kind to come in hit the like button.
And look who dropped in, the one and only Post Up with the close up.
Oh, Post in?
Post is here. He'll be here in just a second, buddy. He dropped by.
Oh, okay, for sure. What you got going on with yourself, Needles? As the room is filling up. Let me.
Oh, you know, just work's picking up, so I haven't been able to get those videos. But I swear, like Post Up, I will get them out. Okay. They will come out.
Your Mind podcast episode. This is episode 3, right? Third one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, episode 3.
So, Blue, you were streaming earlier, right?
Yes, I was. I was playing some Sea of Thieves.
Ooh, so what do you think about it?
I'm liking it so far. They kind of just plop you in there, so I had to figure out some stuff. They don't really tell you how to do anything. But
I wasn't the close stuff. I liked what I played, but yeah, now we can actually kind of talk about it. So you run with the crew by yourself, or?
I was alone for a little bit, and then I decided to just like hop in with someone because I didn't know what I was doing. But then it turns out that person didn't know what they were doing, so we were just like, all right, let's just figure it out together. Yeah. But it was fun. I liked it so far.
All right.
So you were in the little boat then, not the big one?
Yeah, I didn't use the really big one yet. I used the little one and then the medium-sized one.
If you ever get in that big one, you need to know, the people need to know what they're doing, because that shit can be very complicated to navigate.
Is it open beta now? Or is it still closed?
No, it's a closed beta. You have to pre-order in order to get access.
How was the game though?
I mean, I was having fun. It's definitely a little like silly. It's not like when the people that I hadn't faced any actual people yet, just because no one came at us from their ship, and I didn't go for anyone yet since I was still learning. However, they do have some environmental enemies, and those enemies are kind of silly.
Yeah, the skeletons.
Yeah.
But even like when the storms happen and all that, if you can go to the eye of the storm, my god, it's fucking crazy.
Oh, I sank a boat.
Yeah.
Because there was a storm, and I was like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, then you got electrocuted. Yeah.
No, I didn't get electrocuted. I didn't even know that could happen. My boat was in the waves, and the water was getting in from the like windows, and I couldn't. You're supposed to go to the bottom and like take out the water with your bucket, and I couldn't do it all alone, like sail and do that and figure that out. So it was kind of
I mean, I was playing with the one and only Bone. You guys might have seen Zaire's video you posted a while back, and he was both drunk in real life and on the ship that actually happened when I was playing with them, and he got electrocuted actually, so it's pretty funny.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, but how? I mean, before we, as we're still, is Sea of Thieves the next big thing for Microsoft?
I mean, I will say this: it is really up there on the Twitch stream views. It's actually beating up PUBG right now, which
it went to number 1 today. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on number 1 for a while. So, I mean, people have an interest. We can say that.
I don't know if it's going to be like like a I don't know if it's gonna be like a console seller,
Okay.
Yeah,
but
I don't think so.
I do think people need to not talk about it the way they have been. Because people have been really just like, yeah, this game sucks, and I don't think it deserves all that.
I've heard that the game is either I heard it sucked or it's the best thing since sliced bread. I haven't heard the middle. Either people love it or hate it. You know what I mean? So
a lot of people who say they don't really like it, I think they tend to play by themselves and they don't get it. Like, that's a game where you should run with the crew, in my opinion. It tends to make the game much better, at least for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think, but then again, for me, I enjoy running with crews for lots of games. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge dynamic because you need a crew to even like navigate the bigger ships and all that, like the sails and steering. You need a spotter. It's crazy.
All right. Like I said, as you guys are coming in, like I said, to be so kind to hit the like button. Where wait, no, see the post get his mic is up together. Post got his mic together yet?
Not quite. I think he's doing something real quick.
Okay, all right. Let me mute myself in the background. Let me hit the like button. Let me share this out. I'm ready to go. Like I said, we got about 3 topics for sure that we're going to talk about tonight. We have Star Wars, the Jedi faith. People making that they're really a new religion that's growing and thriving within some communities. We're going to talk about this rock that they found that's supposed to supposedly older than our own very own galaxy. What else do we have? Do you have one more in there? Or those are the only 2?
I think just the 2.
Okay, all right. So I mean, how many people we have here so far? 22. Thank you guys. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody. Zai goes. Z here goes my channel on Xbox. You told me to link my channel. What happened? The hell are you talking about? I don't know. Shout out to everybody. Like I said, shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm not in the chat right now. I'm still posting a link. Shout out to all you guys there. Okay. Well, I guess we're waiting for Post to get his mic together, but we can start anyway. So anyway, Blue, you sent me an article. Tell me what's going on with the Jedi faith, the Obi-Wan Kenobi. What's going on and what's going on there? Talk to me.
So apparently there is a Jedi religion.
Yes.
And it's kind of interesting. Oh, okay. We're a little bit louder than you on the video.
Louder than me?
Yeah, if you want to raise your mic.
Would I do that in Discord?
On OBS.
All right. So.
Or you can lower us on Discord too if you want. Yeah. But while you're doing that, there's a. it's a little funny, but it's a serious thing. It's not something that they are taking, as a joke. But there's a Jedi religion, and what that basically means is that they follow.
Where did I turn you down at? In where? In
Discord? OBS. You can on Discord if you want.
Oh, OBS. So that's desktop audio.
Yes. Lower it a little bit.
All right. Hello. Is that better for me or else?
Testing.
testing. Does that sound better, guys?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. We're still figuring things out here with the new setup and all that stuff. So the idea here is that people follow the way of the Jedi, and there are like rankings that take place, and there's one person in particular that is basically at the top. And the reason why I found this interesting is because I thought that it was interesting that they actually have like a pretty big following. And it's not only people that are super fans of the movies and all that stuff. It's not like the pop culture aspect of it. It's people that actually identify with the ideas behind the religion. And I don't I personally don't think that it's something that I would ever go for, but they interviewed the person that was
the creator
in charge, the creator of it, and they asked them what it is about this religion that he thought made it intriguing for people. And it turns out that they said that a lot of people felt that when they grew up with religion, they were missing something, and that this religion gave it to them. It fulfilled that need, which is basically what religion does, right? If we get down to the nitty gritty, it's basically something that helps people have faith so that they can be motivated to continue with life, right? Or be motivated to do the right thing, or be motivated to do something, and that's humans are that way. Like, they need something to push them. And I feel that this is the way people would look at this particular religion is kind of how I look at religion as a whole. I feel like it's something that was made up, and I feel like it's something that was made so that it can help humans be better, you know, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I do feel like it's kind of been used to do bad things.
What, this religion? This religion,
no,
or
religion in general?
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
This religion in particular, obviously, they do have issues. For one, the creator is kind of aware of the fact that it's not it's like something that they feel that because of the pop culture behind it, it is the way it is successful because of it. He's aware of that. He's not pushing the agenda of like, no, this is real life. It's more just like, this is what I believe. This is what we believe.
Wait. Who do they pray to?
So okay, I don't think that they pray to anyone.
Okay.
It's more of just like the ideas behind it. Like, if, for example, he describes it as like something that you can use to help you through a difficult situation. And then they use like the light and the dark a lot of the time. And they do have, you know, they do use the titles that are the same in the whole like Star Wars world, like Jedi and Sith. Like they do use those to kind of describe like the people that are within your lives. It's kind of funny to me. I'm sorry. I don't. If anyone that is like,
I think it's pretty humorous as well.
If anyone that does believe in this in the chat like wants to come on the show and maybe like inform us a little bit more, we are using only one article. But I don't mean to laugh at what you believe in, but it's just kind of interesting to think that they can take something that is in pop culture, and this person that created the religion mentioned that that's what Jesus did, right? Isn't that what Jesus is about? He compared religion, like Catholicism and all that, Catholicism, sorry, with this religion, and quote, he says, wasn't everything Jesus was doing just pop culture of his day? He was the most exciting thing happening at the time. He was the counterculture. So he thinks of traditional religion on the same same level as his religion, which is kind of interesting for me. What do you guys think what did you guys think when you read this?
It's very interesting. Very interesting. Basically, the idea is like they take it from the movies. There's not necessarily a god out there, but rather they believe in the Force and how the Force, you know, it's either the light or the dark, or you know, you try to be in the gray area of it. It's all about trying to find a balance and letting nature flow, and then I don't know. It's just like a Star Wars philosophy. It's very interesting. It's kind of cool that they took it and they're trying to use it in peaceful ways, and they try to explain life through it. But listen, at the end of the day, I don't know. It's just movies I watched as a kid, so it's hard to take seriously for me.
Let me tell you this, right? And again, I know I always, and I want to start off by saying this. I'm not. This show here is not to disrespect anyone's faith belief. If you collect 1,000 leaves, you're going to enter the kingdom of Jehovah. More power to you, okay? This show here just to provoke thought. But I said here, not here, but so religion in itself is a very, very young, a man-made concept and a very young concept. You know what I mean? Just think about this, right? I don't have the meme here in front of me, but I had a picture. Let me see if I can find it. The years of some of these several, like I said, you have 44. It was, last time I checked, was 44 denominations of Christianity, right? And I had this one flyer with Jehovah's Witness start one year, the Seventh Day Adventist, you know what I mean, 1800, you know, 19 this, that, and the other. It was only 2018, right? Man has been on this earth again for thousands of years, not millions, without any quote unquote with religion. You know what I mean? Even if you want to go back to the story of Adam and Eve, and you believe the story of Adam and Eve didn't have a Bible, and Adam and Eve didn't have a religion. You know what I mean? So if you want to look at it from that aspect, you know what I mean? But just think about this. 10 years, well, say 30 years from now, or 50 years from now, that could be a growing, thriving religion within America all over the world. Just think about it. You know, look, the same thing. The people laugh at Scientology, right? That thing is not just as big as damn near as Christianity with just as much money. You know what I mean? Like, it's huge. These little small, little crazy. Well, we think they're crazy. You know, religions or cult followings, whatever. Religious people call them a cult. They have to have a start somewhere. But just think about it. On the huge that movie is, you know, Star Wars is extremely huge, extremely successful. 10 years from now, 15 years from now, they may be teaching this shit to our kids in school, man. Like, I mean, this shit is wild. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if that right then and stuff doesn't, like, yo, like, religion, like, you know what I mean? It don't make you take a step back and say, what the hell's going on here? The fact that, again, and I'm going to come back to this again, you know, to what I always said, that no one's born a Jedi. I got to throw it in now. No one's born a Christian. No one's born a Buddhist, a monk, none of that. You have to be taught those concepts, you know what I mean? If you were to how you say, wipe the slate clean and take you and your family, you know what I mean, and put you on Pluto bars or whatever the hell, you know what I mean? The fact, again, that especially people of color, you know, I don't care throughout whatever point in history, that you cannot find at not one point in history that one of these three major religions, whether it's Islam, Judaism, or Christianity, was not forced upon the people without the terms of servitude. You know what I mean? Like that and stuff like this. You know, like, damn, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? But this shit is crazy. You know, again, religion to me, religion puts you in the box. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying all, because you have some zealots out there. You do have some zealots, but and we can move on to this. But something else I want to talk about is that if you look at Christianity in the Roman Empire, and you had all those great, you know, Galileo and all these great, you know, philosophers and you know mathematicians, and if you didn't say that the Earth was the center of the universe, you'd be burned at the stake. You know what I mean? Or even if you go back to the ancient Sumer, you know what I mean, Mesopotamia, which is not modern day Iraq, and when you know the Sumerians were thriving and you know talking about the rings of Saturn, what slowed them down. I'm sorry, was Islam. You know what I mean? Because you got some people still to this day, I've heard it here on this show, that anything that's not is not real, or aliens or demons, and you know that's the devil. Like, shit is crazy. You know what I mean? If it's not in this book here, it doesn't exist. I mean, you got a lot of things that are not in this book that we have. We have Xbox, PlayStation, fried chicken, Popeyes, McDonald's. You know what I mean? Ain't none of this shit in the book. But according to them, or they don't even believe in dinosaurs. Or, you know what I mean? Like, that to me, that's when you know, when you, throw, I hate to say fuck this, throw all logic out the goddamn window, you know what I mean? And that's not the problem, but I think, even like I said, you know, nothing's perfect, right? Even with science, when we learn new things, those formulas change, you know what I mean? And, you know, and things grow upon and expand, but not, like I said, with religion, you know what I mean? You know, when something gets disproven, oh, no, we're not talking about, literally talking about figuratively, and everything has to be faith-based, man. Like, that doesn't bother you, Blue? That everything has to be faith-based. There's nothing concrete. Or they said, well, you know what? God gave you free will.
It bothers me because whenever I asked a question, yeah, that was the answer, that you have to have faith. That's it. Especially if it was a question that couldn't be answered. Oh, forget about it. It was just one of those things where, and then of course, when you ask these questions, they kind of, not only they tell you just have faith, they also like instill the fear in you that because you're asking, you don't have faith, and because you don't have faith, you're going to hell, basically. And it doesn't, you know, help anyone if they don't get answers to their questions, because we are curious people. Like, humans are curious. There's no like, yeah, shut up, you know, that's it. Like, here, I mean, take it.
Blue, where would we be if we always relied on that answer of just have faith? Like, where would we be as a society?
Exactly. We would have no, science would not have developed, you know, at all. Like, we wouldn't be able to do anything right now, you know. We would be, if we didn't have curiosity, if we didn't use our brains and ask questions, we wouldn't have all these things that we have now. And these games that we play, you know, like, that's the idea, right? Where it's like, you don't want to stifle people. I don't believe in stifling anyone. I believe in, you know, nourishing the curiosity and kind of looking for answers. That's me.
I don't know, man. You know, At the end of the day, like this, another thing. Maybe it's just the nature of man, to want to have to have something that's higher than themselves. You know, people say, well, next gen, how come you be an atheist, right? Someone had to create, this, and it just, someone had to put it there, right? Um, I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. The root word of belief is, like I said, is to be unsure. You cannot walk into the court of law and say, "Hey, I believe Neetu shot me. Neetu's gonna walk free." You know what I mean? Uh,
I'm
uh,
not I'm not saying that people who do believe in these religions shouldn't, because people are gonna do whatever they want and it's fine.
Mhm.
I'm saying I don't, and don't force me to, is what I'm saying.
or what?
Just like I don't force you to not believe,
Okay.
sir.
Well, who you talking about? Who talk to? What's going on in the chat?
Someone in chat
What do you say?
that
What do you say?
just
What do you say? Who?
that I sound like a bum,
Oh.
which makes
Oh.
complete sense.
Oh.
People believe what they believe. Why should we believe in a effing alien for when 70% of people on Earth don't believe in their you spelled their self wrong by the way. So you might want to, think about your spelling before you come at someone the way you do, sir. But I will say, yeah, I'm not saying that people shouldn't believe in what they believe in. It's fine. Like, they're not hurting anyone. Just don't force your beliefs on anyone else.
Okay, Brandon Hall said, "Girl, you sound like a bum nigga. People believe." wait, what? People believe. What did he say? Hold on. People believe. Hold up. Oh, people believe.
People believe what they believe. Why should we believe in a fucking alien for when 70% of people on Earth don't believe in their THERE self?
All right. I don't know. And my man's like, he's straight Wu-Tang Killer Bees. Don't leave that one alone. Zach Kareem put, I know exactly what you mean, Z. I went to a Muslim private school, and every time I asked a question the teacher didn't want to ask, I got beat probably about 4 times a week. Now, now, listen. Here's the thing, right? Real talk, right? And I be want to have when I do these shows, or whatever. It's interesting to me. You know what I mean? If you know me, I know I'm a big history buff. I like to read everything. I've always been that way, right? And even some of the questions I had as a kid, and when you couldn't answer it, our ways are not God's ways or whatever. And if I have any questions, check it out, right? I look at it like I keep it simple. I deal with things in layman terms, right? It says that I was made in His image and with His likeness, right? We're gonna go by the book, make man in our image and our likeness, right? So I'm the type of joke with things on both sides of the brain. You know what I mean? And I used to ask my grandma, literally. You know what I mean? I ain't lying. Maybe because I was a badass little kid growing up, but they used to scare the hell out of me with the hell. You know what I mean? Oh, God sees you, everything. You're going to hell. You're going to hell. You're going to hell. Right? I'm going to burn forever. Right? But I used to ask my grandma, like, why do we have to die? And why did such and such get killed? Or why did, my friend's little sister got killed? And, because Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, or whatever you want to call it, the apple, the pineapple, it doesn't matter what type of fruit, right? So, we're paying for something, right, that had nothing to do with us whatsoever. Nothing, you know what I mean? And I liken it to the fact that I have a child. My youngest is Maya, right? And I said, Maya, don't touch this gun on my desk. If you touch this gun, I'm going to beat you. But, of course, Maya touches the gun, right? And Maya shoots a hole in the wall. When she shoots a hole in the wall, it hits the neighbor, right? So I'm going to punish Maya. I'm going to punish the neighbor across the street. I'm going to punish Maya's kids for something, again, all these other thousands of generations or whatever that didn't have anything to do with it. To me, he said, I am a God, a forgiving God. Put no, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, even the characteristics they give this God is supposed this deity, right? And we're going to go about this deity, to me, makes no sense, that can see everything, knows everything, right? He should know beforehand, right? That, things were going to turn out the way that they did, right? Because he made the ultimate sacrifice. Before that, first he flooded the earth. He got, he got mad. He repented for making man. It's just that God repented for making man. Now, who heard God repent? I don't know, but it has to right there. He prayed to himself and he repented for making the man and the animals, right? He cried and shed a tear, and then the man was forgiven, right? So again, if we're going with this deity that can sees everything and knows everything, it really doesn't make any sense, because if he gave the ultimate sacrifice, which was his son, and for shit still to be kind of the way it is right now, doesn't make any sense, or to even have a flood and wipe out everything and to start all over again, and shit still to be the way it is right now. Well, they said, well, that's because of the devil. Now it says there in the Bible that the devil can't do nothing that God doesn't allow him to do. You know what I mean? So here you got a person that's going to church every day of life or whatever, making a tithes or offerings, and someone kills her 9-year-old son. Now, supposedly God knows, this woman knows how that would make her feel, right? Here she is doing her best to serve this deity, right? You know, and God allowed the devil to take her son, right? Let's think about what we're saying here. Or my thing was, if we got all this bad shit that happened on Earth, why didn't God just destroy the devil? Why does he allow him to run rampant? Like, doesn't make any sense to me. Like some of those stories, look, you know, even the story of Jesus, King Herod, they killed every child under the age of 2, right? And he told Joseph to go run. King Herod was killing every fucking child in the Bible under the age of 2, right? Now, if I'm Joseph and nigga, this your son, why don't you get and kill King Herod? You know what I mean? Why you let all these 2-year-old innocent babies being slaughtered? That's what maybe that's my own undoing. But when I look at stories like you know, that doesn't. I look at them like that, like you think the layman, like, why did this not get killed him? You know what I mean? Or why did why didn't God just soften, I say, Pharaoh's heart to let the people go from the beginning? Like some of that shit to me, this doesn't make any sense. And to me, like I said, not to be disrespectful, but I don't know how anybody in this day and age, you know, can still go by some of them old, you know, dated doctrines, you know what I mean? Especially when you know things can happen literally, you know, in Revelations, when next time the world comes and the stars are going to fall down the earth, and we know now and it can happen, you know what I mean? But we're still going by those texts. So to me, that doesn't make, like, I don't know, that's just sheer lunacy, you know. But I've been wanting to have, like I said, an open conversation without a bunch of name calling and, you know, and people getting offended because they, you know, because even when something they can't explain for, they know this shit sound kind of crazy, kind of spooky, they get very defensive. That I don't understand. Like, we can talk, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't have any, emotional attachment to any of this stuff, you know what I mean? If it's something I don't know.
If you all wanna, like, if anyone in chat or, you know, in another later date, if anyone wants to call into the show, just join the Discord and we can bring you in. We're not about to, you know, argue back and forth about this stuff, but it's great to have just conversation.
Okay. What are we arguing? It's not an argument. Well, we got Brandon Hall. He said, next gen, God gives us choices. That was life is based off. Okay.
This is how I look at this whole religious thing. You know, I've been going back and forth to the hospital and stuff.
Lord, preach. Testimony. Lord Jesus.
Type 2 diabetes, right?
Shot.
I just came from a diabetic class, you know, and it just amazes me how truly magnificent the human body is.
Oh, Lord.
In regards to the inner workings. Like, okay, you eat some sugar, okay? The body knows the sugar is into your bloodstream, and however amount is entered, the brain signal to your pancreas to release insulin. The same amount of insulin that's released is the same amount of sugar that the brain detects in your bloodstream, right? So what does insulin do? Well, the insulin is a key. It has a key to the cell. So it can go to the cell, unlike that cell, bring that glucose in from that sugar and attach it to the cell, then the cell going to do whatever it has to do as far as just taking what it needs out of it and then do away with what it don't need. Then the liver, you know, releases glucose. Like, and it just amazes me how the body, it has to be some type of other work. I wouldn't call it, I don't know if to call it God or anything like that, but it has to be some type of supreme energy of being.
Oh, Lord.
In order to create this system that we have here.
What system?
Like, every time your finger moves, that's your brain sending a signal to your hand, telling it to move. When you touch fire and cold, that signal travels that fast to determine, for the brain to determine whether it's hot. You have to be some type of incredible something
All right,
to have created this makeup that we're in. Now, I'm not just saying I believe in Jesus or anything like that or anything.
So, listen,
it
before
has to be some type of supreme thing at work that's beyond.
who?
That's beyond. I'm just beyond us, man. Because the human body is a mother. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so all right, listen, I'm trying to before I lose all contact with you and block the rest of my life.
Oh man.
And my man Paulson came back from that diabetes class talking right spooky. Now listen, check it out, right? Now, even like belief, like we can always go into belief, right? Well, as far as religion, you know what I mean, and if we want to say more spiritual, fine, whatever. But and to anyone in the chat, you know what I mean, or whatever, right? And I always come back to this, right? Whether you agree with these people or not, all of the three major religions more or less have. First, you want to say the first major religion was Judaism, the Jews. After that came Christianity. And after that came Islam, right? And all three of them, the Christians, and this what starts the confusion. And you're gonna see where I'm going with this. You have Christians. You have Jews looking at Christians like they're crazy because they have the Old Testament, aka Tanakh, the Torah, a part of the Christian Bible, which doesn't have anything to do with Christianity, right? Then Islam came so many, 100 years later, and then Christians are looking at them crazy because they have parts of their thing, a part of their Quran, but doesn't have anything to do with Christianity, right? But where to me what starts to not so you can tear them all apart. I wouldn't even have an issue with that because if the Jews or Abraham, that's like, if to be considered a Jew is be called the descendant of Abraham, they're telling the stories like again the Sumerian tells of creation like it's their history, right? And this would to me not tears all it out of the water, because you have a culture that predates, whether you agree with them or not, but that predates the Abraham by thousands of years, and they didn't have a quote unquote a god or a religion. The Sumerians tell and same thing. They call them Adam in the Bible. The Sumerians called them the Adam. Same stories, right? And again, so if all of those three major religions came after this right here, and they didn't have a religion nor did they have a god. Now, whether you choose to believe them or not, now it's crazy, right? Now it may sound. Now we all know that
they might have had a god, but they have a god without a religion. Like you could believe in a higher being.
Well, they call them their lords, but they said that they were genetically modified. Now, saying that, they were genetically modified, but listen, what gives the creed, they consider chromosome 2 and 3, they are fused. Ours is fused together. You only find that in things that quote unquote like that fused that have been genetically modified. Now, and again, that may seem a little far fetched if we go back and think about. But these people were talking about DNA and all that shit thousands. We didn't find out about this shit like the late 80s, early 90s. You know what I mean? This is real stuff right here. You know what I mean? So again, as far as religion, the religious concept. Now, again, they call them their lords. Now, if we're gonna say is God as this being that's on a cloud that can see everything and he can strike someone down, I ain't going with all that. You know what I mean? No. I can't go there.
I'm just saying. This is what I'm saying. Right.
Intelligence in design, I give you that.
This what I'm saying, and the brain is such a powerful piece. Right now, even though your energy and focus is on this show, it's things right now that's going on in your body that the brain is taking care of. And you don't even got to tell it to it, just know. You feel me? I'm talking about on a cellular level. I'm talking about things like you have to be otherworldly in order to have the type of capabilities to create a perfect system like this, like the human body. I'm talking about if we go outside of all the mucus and the stuff that's been that we intake and stuff that's been messing with our bodies to create imbalance. If we take all that away and just look at us as humans with that proper balance, alkaline system, whatever. This human body, it's like a perfect system, bruh. It's like, and I don't care, like if you're an alien or whatever being you are that created or a help. You have to be otherworldly in order to create something that worked this perfect, man. Like it's crazy. I'm bringing some. I'm bringing some other stuff to the show today.
This nigga went to that diabetes class and found Jesus.
I done seen the light.
Oh Lord.
You know what? At the end of the day, right? I say that to say this, right? And someone said as far as evolution, right? And look, right? And someone argued me down, said, "Man, you can't. These are the Lord's words." Actually, no, those are man's words, person being inscribed and inspired by God, the voice of God, or whatever. People talk to God every day, right? I said it to say this, right? I wouldn't have a problem with any religion or anything if everything was on one accord. If we got one God, one, so you say, intelligent designer, and we use religion as a vehicle to get us through life, to navigate through life. I have an issue with that. The fact that even these major religions are not all on one accord, you know what I mean? Or how you say that God will allow people to successfully enslave his people and do harm and call on his name. The Joel Osteens, whoever out there, you know what I mean? It allow these people to successfully call on, Jesus' name, whoever name, and to enslave his people, whatever,
I agree with that. You know what? I can agree with you when it comes to these religion, excuse my vulgarity, but it fucks up everything. Yeah. And it kind of makes you question the validity of what you're reading and what you're being told. And there's nothing wrong with that, because there's no way in the world you need 44 denominations for one being. If you're saying there's only one God and things like that, it's no way we need 44 denominations. There's no way we need all these different religions with
should be one
that believe in different things and that fight amongst each other in regards to their beliefs in order to represent or praise one particular high being. I just don't understand that. And that's where the confusion comes in. And that's where you want to question, like, well, okay, if all y'all believe in the same God, why do I need all these different stories and different interpretations of this God? Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
Like I said, to success, or I go look again, right? Not to get too spooky with it, right? Mm-hmm. Here, and that's what any the major, since Zaire just always banging on Christianity. What does he have to say about Islam? I look at all of them like they're, I say, a little bit spooky, right? See, here in America, we're only really taught about the 412 years that we supposedly went over here. People of color went through, American slavery over here. But no one talks about that over 20 years of slavery that people of color did in Africa, northern parts of Africa, the Islam slavery. You know what I mean? More or less, that's the primary religion. And black people being castrated, all types of wild stuff. You can see what's going on in Liberia now. You know what I mean? Libya right now. I'm sorry. That's nothing new. So when I look at it, I say, I can say this. Look, right? And this is the way I look at things, right? Regardless of what you may believe in, right? I know people say, well, there was some because first of all, in their part of the world, they always go back to the Ethiopian church. They don't even consider themselves Christians. That's a very derogatory term to them. But I said to this, right? People in Africa, right? And not to get on a white or black thing issue right now, but we can talk about that in a minute. Mm-hmm. We were not Christian, more or less. The council, we wasn't. That was honestly what the teachers their language into. Look, it says right, it's okay for us slaves obey thy master. We all know the passages in the Bible that used to propagate slavery. You need to go there, but I can't see that here it is. You got some guy on the cloud, right, or wherever you're supposed to be at, right? And we talking about black mothers crying and for their babies not to be used as gator meat down in the Mississippi bayous and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Literally. Sitting back. Go ahead. No, I'm just saying. I just find that hard to believe that someone, that he so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, X, Y, and Z, for things to go left. He could sit there and watching someone dunk a little, 2-year-old baby in the bayous and to debate gators. Like, that's crazy. And people say, well, that's not God, that's man. Okay, fine. Whatever you want to call it, I don't understand it. Maybe that's why I'm not God, and things like that to me just never really made sense to me. You know what I mean? You know, or you know, how? Or he's coming back now. You know, he's gonna strike in whose lifetime? My lifetime? Your lifetime? People been talking about he's been coming back for how long? Like, that's crazy. That's sheer lunacy, man. You know.
So we do have a call in. Mocha Smiley, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
How are you today?
I'm absolutely wonderful. I just love listening to you all. I've been looking for a channel like this, and I'm just really enjoying it. Next Gen, great job, bud. I just love listening to you.
Appreciate it.
So what did you want to tell us today?
Well, I was just saying, I'm a big believer in science. I know there's some falsehoods in science and things of that nature, but science has been really accurate, more accurate, I think, than some theologies, in my opinion. I believe that the universe, if something as complicated as the human body can be made in, what, 4.6 billion years Earth has been around, the universe is 14.3 billion years old, I believe the universe is God. And do I think it's a conscious God? Yeah. But I just don't think that it's some kind of angelic God. It's like the universe wants to learn, because what everything wants to do is wants to learn. You know, everything that you're out there to learn, and what the universe does says, hey, let me give you a slice of my soul, and you'll learn. And everything you do, every time you breathe in, you're breathing in something that no one has ever breathed in the history of the world. No creature, no nothing. That makes you unique. That makes you beautiful. That makes you pure. And you're just everything you're doing, you're giving to your soul, and that goes back to God when you die. And then whoop, he's gonna send it right back out to learn more, because there's nothing ever gonna be like you again.
Come on, talk about it, Mocha Latte.
Man, we got an interesting topic for him.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna play it right now, right? Now listen, right? And he said, my man said he's a man of science, right? And that's the difference between science and these doctrines, because when things in science get proven wrong, or whatever the case, or they expand upon it, you learn. You know what I mean? You know, they thought that a man couldn't go 60 miles an hour. You know, the inertia would kill him. You know what I mean? But that's, of course, been disproven. You know what I mean? So as we become smarter, we become wiser, and you know, theories and all in science, they change, but not when it comes to these doctrines, right? And that's, to me, that's one of the main issues. But listen, right? It says this is a rock. Let me actually play the video here. Let me know if you guys can hear it. Play a little bit of it without getting the copyright. Here, let me go here. Yeah.
See, he's getting into that spirit science.
well, the thing is, I was heavy into drugs and alcohol.
Oh, my man.
And went to AA, to rehab, and they said I had to find a higher power or it's never going to work. And I was like, I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Jewish. I'm nothing. I don't believe in anything. I'm agnostic. And she's like, please find something. And I was like, well, I believe in the universe. I love studying it. I love learning about it. So if I know it's as complicated as we are, and if you look at a cell and you look at the nucleus of a cell, what is that? That's the sun. If you look at what orbits, the electrons that orbit the nucleus, what is that? That's planets. So if you think there's 100 billion stars in our galaxy and 100 billion galaxies that we know of, and each one could be a cell, every planet or every solar system, could those be cells? And if so, how smart and how intelligent would the universe be? How in depth would it be? And we're
because the brain. If you look at the brain, the nerves in the brain, there's more nerve connections in the brain than than what's the name of the universe. It's crazy. You know what? The conscious thing you was talking about. I'm put a link in the chat. It's this video called Spirit Science 12, the Hidden Human History movie. It's about an hour long. If y'all can take like an hour out of your day to watch this video, it has a really good interpretation of the history of humans. It talks about Earth. It talks about what happened on Mars, and it talks about how when you was talking about the universe and its consciousness, how we have separated ourselves from that consciousness. And so I'm gonna post a link in the chat. When y'all get a chance, I want y'all to watch it, and hopefully by the next show, if everybody watched it, then we can elaborate on it a little bit more.
All right, hold on. Can you guys hear this?
After further research was done into it, is
we
now
can't, but the chat will.
Okay, all right.
It's being found to be
Mocha,
more
thank you so much for
stranger
calling,
than
and we will continue to discuss
thought.
your.
Now, if you've never heard of this rock,
question.
it goes by the name the Hypatia.
Thank you. Have a beautiful day.
Same to you, brother.
We need more people to chime in and join the Discord and give their opinions and join into the subject matter. We want to hear y'all. We just don't want to see y'all chatting in the YouTube chat. Come in and be heard and give us your opinion.
All right, hold on. So
go ahead.
They can hear. They can
Which
hear.
was
right?
this mysterious little rock from outer space that was discovered in southwestern Egypt back in 1996. The size of it was that of hardly more than a pebble, just 1.3 inches wide at its widest, and a smidge over an ounce in weight. But analysis later revealed that the stone fit into no known category of meteorite. The diamond-encrusted intergalactic pebble was found to contain micromedia compounds never found in surrounding planets or in any other meteorite or comet. And in this new research, they discovered that this rock, or shreds of a rock, of what they say could have been part of a several meters long rock that entered Earth's atmosphere, is older than the planets and the sun itself.
All right. Basically, if you can post, or you can hear it. They found the rock in Egypt, right? A rock or whatever the case, space rock, and that it's older than our sun. You know what I mean? Our sun is older than our Earth, our planet here, our Earth is older than our solar system. You know what I mean? So this kind of sets again religion on its head, because according to the Bible, on the fourth day, if I'm not mistaken, that God created the heaven and the suns, the sun, the moon, and the stars on the fourth day. So if that was to be true, if that would be the case, that you shouldn't have, or there shouldn't be any rocks, or that's older than our sun, or than our solar system, if everything was created then. But this is here's tangible proof that they have a rock that they found in Egypt that's older than our actual galaxy. You know what I mean? And some religious people are having a fit about this right here. You know what I mean? And you know what? And why they do this, I don't understand. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like literally. But that's why I say, like I said, religion is a very, very dangerous thing, man. You know what I mean? Like, what are your thoughts about this, Post? They got a rock that's older than our solar system. Post, you there?
Well, looks like you got Mike muted.
My bad. I just got back. Okay, what was the question? What were we discussing?
No, okay, then. Well, anyway.
well, hold on, Z. I got you. They're gonna say that rock, is a part of God. It came from God. That's what they're gonna tell you.
Well, rock.
What's crazy is that they found a rock that seems to predate the worlds, like the age of, like, that's crazy,
our universe, yeah, it predates, yeah.
Like it's that. Can you imagine? I mean, we know that there's more out there, right? We just don't have the technology to find it. What?
You know what that tells you, Blue?
What?
That tells you they only tell you what they want you to know.
What do you mean?
Right? That means is that that rock, it's people in this world. It's called controlled information, basically, right? And as long as I know more than the masses, then I can better control that mass, right? It's just like the story that Z talks about all the time, how when with the Anunnaki, with the first group of people that they made as slaves, they made them too smart, and they say, hey, they might overthrow us. They might overthrow us, so we're gonna wipe them out, and we're gonna recreate these things, so they won't ever get to a point intellectually where they will supersede us. All right, that's the type of world we live in from an educational perspective. We're slow-fed things. It's things out here that's well beyond that we might think be the well beyond the realm of possibility, but you have the elites who have access to this information. They have access to technologies that you wouldn't believe. As I say this all the time. By the time something reaches our hands, it's already obsolete. It's already about 20 or 30 years old. I'm talking about computers, cell phones, TVs, cars. Anything that you see in the movie, if if you see it in the movie, then they are already doing it.
No.
So what you're saying is that information is being withheld from us.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes,
Mhm.
purposely.
Mhm.
Purposely. It's they doing it on purpose. It's just look at the educational system now. Look how the educational system in the United States have declined over the last decade because ignorant people, uh, a man who knows and can think for himself is more dangerous than anything. He's a danger to the
Mhm.
system.
Yeah.
Someone who can think for themselves is a danger to the system. So if I'm in control of that system, then my main goal, you can see it in TV, you can see it in TV shows, Love and Hip Hop New York. You can see it in the music, the ignorance in the music. My main thing is to keep the population ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Not too ignorant, but to keep them ignorant of the things that's going on around them. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create this thing we call the entertainment roller coaster. That from the moment they wake up to that they hit the bed, they're gonna constantly be on this roller coaster. Whether it's working, whether it's watching movies, whether it's listening to music, dancing, arcade games, technology, anything, we're gonna keep them on this roller coaster because as long as they on that roller coaster, they're not focusing on the things that's going on around them.
Mm-hmm. Just being honest, the next gen, not just the rock. There's so many structures that was found that predates human race. So yeah, someone was on Earth before humans, and many species very similar. No. What I understand. Yeah, listen. Whatever version of man or whatever, like you have those elongated skulls down in Peru, they're not human. You know what I mean? Listen, what I'm. Let's check it out. Right? We all, when growing up in school, we were all taught that the Egyptians more or less built the pyramids, right? That's, you
Mhm.
know what I mean. But and it's crazy that we're not you that I wasn't, until I went to college. Really didn't learn much about the Sumerians, right? And they are credited, and there may have been some that were predates them, but they are credited most of being the oldest civilization on the planet. The way that we break down time from 24 hours to 12 hours to seconds, seconds to minutes, you know what I mean, to microseconds, all that comes from them. You know what I mean? The fact that you need a notarized letter and all the things that we use now today and every day, a lot of it came from the Sumerians, right? But they wrote about the pyramids. You know what I mean? Literally, they wrote about the pyramids, which they predate again the Egyptian dynasty and culture again by thousands of years, right?
And guess what? All the pyramids, all those ancient sites, they all line up with each other and they all point to magnetic north. I'm talking about all the famous spots from Machu Picchu, if I'm
Yeah.
pronouncing that right. The pyramids of Gaza, even the spot that we're talking about where you have to see from the plane.
Yeah.
See, all of the,
Nazca,
yeah,
Nazca lines.
all of these sites around the world line up directly with each other. They also all points to magnetic north, and they also line up with Orion's belt. Like you, that's crazy.
Hey, you know what? But when people like say quote unquote when they get the debunking and said, it was by chance, whatever. They stop right there. Not only do they line up with one true north, and only the map one true north was coming from above, they line up with those structures there on Mars. I mean, longitude and latitude, they line up with the structure on Mars. Now, people say, well, that's not a phase, whatever you want to, Cydonia, or it may look like a pyramid, but it's not. But they line up point for point with those
Mm.
structures there on Mars.
So, we do have another caller.
Okay.
Garuda is in the building. Hi,
What's the name?
Garuda Legends.
Garuda Legend. Thank you for coming out. God bless. Good night. What's going on? Talk to me.
You hear us, Garuda?
Can we hear Garuda?
Hmm. All right. Well, I don't. His mic was just working, but we can continue. I do. So, here's the thing. I kind of feel like I do agree with that post up where we are being told, what they want us to know. And I think that it's a little scary, right? because if you look at history, I mean, I don't know if any of you all studied anything about the Vietnam War, but with that alone, they told the American public what they wanted to. They spread a lot of propaganda, and people actually thought in the time when the war was happening that we were winning, but in actuality, we were getting our asses kicked. And it wasn't until later that people found out, and it's like, it's crazy because like the flow of information, especially back then, but like it still can be controlled so well, even with the internet now, like even with like people, you know, disappear sometimes when they release things, right?
I mean, the internet was a big failure for them because prior to the internet, you know, they control all the media outlets and the newspaper, so they was able to control the information well with the newspaper. When the internet came out, there's no way they was able to control the internet. So this is why we got so much access to so much information to this day. And then with the Vietnam War, people found out that it was a lie, and that it wasn't a war that was meant to be won. It was only meant to be sustained because of the industrial military complex. It was all about making money. You know what I'm saying? And people went off to that war and died over lies. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Same thing with Pearl Harbor. They blamed the Japanese, even though the United States coerced the Japan into doing that. It's crazy.
We gotta just being honest. Next gen, check this out. What are your thoughts on the moon? Has it been researched? The moon is actually made. Well, man, you know, it's not an artificial object, and that the moon was placed in the spot orbit around this planet. It's crazy, right? I forgot the name of the Indian tribe, but says that they remember, it's dating back a couple thousand years ago. This is what people wrote down, that the moon just appeared, and it said it was strange when the moon appeared. Women didn't get their period or something like that, menstrual cramps. I'm gonna actually find the article, but yeah, they said also too our moon is hollow, and it doesn't spin on its axis. That in itself is kind of trippy too. They said our moon is hollow.
It doesn't. We only see one side of the moon constantly.
It doesn't spin on its axis.
It doesn't spin. We never see the dark side of the moon.
Yeah, you don't find that with natural objects. You know, everything spins on its axis. You know, but not our moon. It just sits there.
That's crazy though. But, you know.
There's some spooky stories about the moon. Z, you sent me something about the third man who visited the moon. He said some odd things. Want to repeat those?
Which one? Which one?
It was like the third. He was the third astronaut who visited the moon. Nobody talks about him though, and that's the kind of like doesn't say much about him.
Hush him up. We're talking about when he landed, it rang like a bell.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but again, now in the '60s, you know, you had handwave operator. They was able to record, because you know NASA had what you call, quote unquote, a secret channel, and you had some hand operators. And the same thing, you know, in the hood we got those police scanners, more or less. You know what I mean? You get to see what, you know, the cops over here. And then, anyway, so these handwave operators was able to record some of NASA. You know, I'm talking about. Oh, look, we have the alien ship under observance. They got structures over here. This X, Y, and Z. Let me tell you something, right? At the end of the day, right? Regardless of what you may believe in, like in you can be the you can be the most God-fearing man in the world, because even if there are, which I believe there is, you know what I mean, because you can't point to any culture, more or less older culture within on Earth, that haven't talked about with their interaction with other beings from other planets, right?
I'm finna start something today.
Check this out, right? At the end of the day, right? But you have an infinite amount of space, planets, stars, and bodies, and if you're gonna go with this whole God theory, to have nothing reside there, or that's just, to me, you know what I mean, like that's just the craziest thing in the world. And listen, even though you may think how unique that we are, we're basically made up of water and carbon, more or less. That's the basic building blocks of life, water and carbon. And that's
carbon-based creatures.
Yeah, and that's throughout the universe. You know what I mean? And it's not just, how you say, unique to here on Earth. You know what I mean? It's
Look,
crazy.
Man.
Go by the Drake equation. You know what I mean?
The Earth is flat, and they didn't go to the moon.
Oh, don't start. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Hey, Post, I had something for you. Post. I gotta find it, man. They said that the CIA approached the CIA, I'm gonna find the article. I'm gonna send it to you, man.
Yo, they didn't go to the moon back in the '60s. None of that. That was all staged. And the reason why is because we have this thing that sits around our planet or our plane or our rim. Because I think it was Tesla who said that the Earth is not a planet or a globe or anything like that. It's a rim. But we have this thing called the Van Allen belt, and it's like a 20 or 60,000 mile radius of belt of radiation, right? It extends very, very far, very, very far. And no, to my knowledge, I'm saying to my knowledge, there's no man-made object that can fly through that belt and survive. The human body can't sustain it. It's no metal on this earth that can protect the human body or the electronic equipment from that belt. So that's my theory. But then I'll be kind of a hypocrite by saying that because I just said in the same breath that they had technology beyond ours. So they maybe they're lying to us. But to my knowledge, no. But I was just watching a guy who used to be the defense minister of Canada, and he was talking about how the Roswell incident was real, and that that flying saucer that recovered got into the wrong hands. Not our government, but he said when it got into the hands of the elites, the military-industrial complex, that's when things they start backwards engineering the technology and things like that. So at this point, back then to where we are now, hey, maybe they are capable of doing.
That's right. Shout out to my man Robert Below. He said, "What do you guys think about time travel?"
I don't know. I think that's a little further out there for me.
Time travel?
Yeah, I'm a little like.
You know what's crazy? Look,
I haven't gotten there yet.
Even down to Einstein and what's my man Nikola Tesla, that time and space is like a fabric can be folded in half. I'm so horrible with names, but anyway, a gentleman, we close the show with this. Say his name was Bob something, Bob Lancaster, right? I'm gonna go find if I can find this guy. So, but anyway, he owned his own private airport, more or less. The planes can come and small one, right? Like Teterboro. And he said the UFO landed on his property, and basically taught him. Wouldn't have given the math to be able to play back past events. The Catholic Church, I'm gonna find a video too. I thought it's called Chrono something. They invested in this too. Play back past events. You know what I mean? Things that may have happened. He said the Earth magnetic field is like a tape deck. If you're constantly recording, how they can go up there in the stratosphere and take back things that may have happened in the past and replay them again. You know what I mean? But anyway, so this guy was supposed to finally display his technology for the world. The world can see it. Him going back, showing things from the past. And guess what happened when they clipped his ass? His ass was dead right before he was supposed to go on the air.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow. It's showing. But I believe. Here's the thing. I believe in reincarnation. I believe in all that stuff, man. You know what I mean? I know as like you said, if you Nethus, now this is right up your alley here. You Indian, you guys believe in reincarnation, and plus there've been a lot of heavily documented cases. The most extended one I've seen was this woman. She was able to recall like 10 past lives. She went way back to Africa during the dinosaur age. And and she, what I mean, it's like I was running from a alligator right here, and she explained, described the tools that she had. She went back there and found the weapons and handbag, everything she had. Like this shit was trippy. You know what I mean? Was able to recall that many lives. You know what I mean?
That's super interesting. Nethos, are you? I don't think I've ever heard this, but like, are you religious at all?
I am not very religious at all. Yeah, I know. I have the Hindu background and everything. I can't even speak Hindi to save my life, but I know I've heard some
your
crazy
family
stories.
is?
Yeah, my family is.
And how do they feel about that? Like you not necessarily being Hindu or believing in
yeah.
all
I don't
of
really
the
get to talk to him too much because I only go to India like probably once every 10 years. But they always kind of try to teach me things, and they show me stories about like the Great Wars and Hinduism and stuff like that. And I don't really pay attention, to be honest with you guys. I'm sorry, I'm not that. But I will recall a really interesting story about reincarnation. So Z sent me this video where basically this doctor, he had a wife, had a very good family, and he died early on. And then there was this kid that could actually recall that doctor's life, and he actually found the woman the man was married to, and he told her her husband told her, meaning he really could have been that doctor reincarnated. And the Hindus actually have a huge belief in reincarnation. It's actually like Buddhism. I think Hinduism might actually predate that religion, if I'm correct. And, you know, their big thing is about reincarnation and how life always goes back in a circle.
Life, yeah.
Well,
wouldn't that be something to come back as a roach? As a frog?
There's a whole temple where they think they come back as rats. Like, I'll say that.
Well, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think I do believe in reincarnation too, but I don't know if I'm, not that I don't want to say if that I believe or anything like that, but I think it's possible, I guess, would be where I, you know, lean against that. I'm not sure about the whole like being reincarnated in like to an animal.
Yeah, like, I don't know much about that, but there are plenty of spooky cases where people have been reincarnated as other people in the past, like they can call back events.
I feel like you reincarnate
like
as the same thing that you were in the past.
Yeah, as a person, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely could see that, you know, because it's like
especially if they're like hypnotized and they can recall all those events.
Oh yeah, that's whenever they hypnotize people and they like find things like this, it's super interesting because, again, I've said it before, but we cannot access, when we're conscious, we cannot access like a big part of our brain, and it's like, so what's in there, you know? It's super interesting. And what can we do if we can access that, you know, 100% of our brain?
Now, going back to what Poe said, that we were dumbed down. You know what I mean? You know, but at the end of the day, right? All this is very, very interesting, man. Very, very interesting stuff, man.
For sure.
I started about all this very, very interesting stuff.
Expand your mind.
Expand your mind podcast.
Exactly.
You know, calling again, bro. Somebody said calling again.
Yeah, it's Garuda's stuff is not working, guys. So it's fine. Okay. We'll get him on next time, if anything.
All right.
But this was a great conversation.
For sure.
If you all want to suggest topics, I know it's super tempting to suggest them in the chat, but most times we do have set topics already, and this would be like a 5-hour show if we just like kept going. But we do want you to throw your suggestions. Just throw them in the Discord. We have a suggestion and question channel, a text channel, and you can throw your questions in there. You can just type them out and we will consider them for another show. Definitely send us links. Those help a lot.
Yes.
And this goes for any of our shows. All right, so anything gaming, anything, you know, related to this, if you're listening later, definitely go for it.
Yeah. And you know, special shout out to Mocha, who was able to drop by, and also Garuda Legend, who tried dropping by. Remember, guys, this channel is open to all of you. You don't have to be a YouTube star or anything. You can just hop in, come say your piece, and, you know, hop out. And all of you are welcome to join. And this is for any show, not just this one, Beast Fire. It's whatever.
Yeah, we're trying to get them on for, like, a lot of the shows. So.
Militant Rebel said, please keep this shit going.
We will be back.
We'll be back. We'll be back next
This is
week.
a rescheduled show. We did have to do this today, but we are usually on Tuesdays bi-weekly at 9:30 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. But thank you for rocking out with the show tonight. My man Robert Ballou said, do you believe in Sasquatch? Yes, sir. I believe in Bigfoot, man. I believe in Bigfoot, the wild man, hairy man.
Believes in reptilians.
Yo, there's a
He goes the whole
Bigfoot
9 yards.
game.
Oh, really?
It's an indie game, and I played it on Monday. Yo, shit was fun.
Yo, speaking of indie games, you've been playing that creepy game. You said like you died in the first level.
Gosh. I died like so many times. It's so creepy.
Well,
I
what is that
screamed.
game?
It's basically a game where you're a child looking for your sister who was kidnapped, and the child believes that that her sister's in that house, and so you go to the house, you sneak into the house, and you try and find your sister. However, your sister, I mean, you are being hunted by these like possessed dolls. Yeah. And some voodoo, some voodoo stuff happened where someone took like evil souls that I believe when they were humans killed children or kidnapped children
to search
and trapped them into these dolls. And it takes place in 1920, so those dolls look jacked up, and they chase you around the house and they kill you. So you have to do a lot of like sneaking around and darkness and stuff.
Darkness.
I'm dying. I don't know why I agreed to do this. It's a great game. It's called Witchkin, though, if you guys are interested. On the Steam store.
Steam store.
Coming to Xbox soon. And VR.
Listen, thank you for rocking out with Expand Your Mind podcast. We catch you guys. What's tomorrow? Thursday?
Tomorrow's Thursday.
Multiplayer podcast. Who's gonna get the L? Who's gonna get the L tomorrow? Who's gonna get that L? Mega D.
Come through. Find out.
Yeah. We out here. Thank you. Bye.